So with Jiu-Jitsu growing now, these things are becoming a lot more popular. This is a grappling dummy, specifically the Grappling Smarty 2.0. And a common question I get asked are grappling dummies worth it? How should I use it? You know, what's the best way to be able to get a hold of it and get most value out of it? So in today's video, I want to share with you guys a few do's and don'ts that I recommend whenever you either are looking to purchase a grappling dummy, and then also how to use it the correct way. Because if you're going to invest your money in something, at least learn how to use it in the most effective way possible. So we'll get into it right now. Now, first off, what I want to say is that any relationship that you have between you and your dummy is between you and him. So ultimately, you guys can use the grappling dummy however you want, but I personally think that there is more benefits to a grappling dummy if you actually know the purpose of it and where the value actually lies. So one of the first big area where a grappling dummy actually has effect is going to be in the aspect that we would know as drilling. Typically, whenever you go to a standard jiu-jitsu class, right, you don't just step on the mat the first day and you start rolling. You usually learn the technique, you visually take in the information, and then you actually practice the movement on a person. Here's the thing, whenever you're practicing the movement, depending on where you train, it's always best to practice the movement with almost little to minimal resistance, because that helps you guys transfer that information into your actual long-term memory so you can recall the techniques when you're under pressure or in a more rolling scenario. So with that being said, the best way that I should use this guy is drilling like I'm drilling a move for the first time, and I'm gonna go much slower. So it's a lot more effective to practice this, especially when it has arms and legs like this Grappling Smarty does, where I could come inside and I can use everything like a checklist. I can make sure my leg is in the right spot, my knee is blocking their knee so they can't come inside and bring a knee shield. I could put my hand on the hip, or I could grab the lapel if I had a gi. I can take a shuffle step, I can roll the pelvis, I can carve my knee through, I can obtain my underhook, and then we could sit all the way through into a position. Drilling like this, going through each step of the motion, is where the benefit of having a grappling dummy comes into place. Because even when you're drilling, let's say you only get to drill for 10 minutes or so, or drill a technique, well, after just 10 minutes, you maybe just finally remembered all the steps. So going through this kinesthetic learning of understanding all the steps of 1, 2, 3, 4, sitting through and finishing the move has a lot of value. Where I see a lot of people make a mistake using a grappling dummy is they try to think about speed. They're trying to think about getting the number of reps in, but you really want to go for quality over quantity, especially when you're drilling and the move is brand new. Now, eventually, whenever you get the move really well known and you're just trying to kind of go through the motions and get repetition and increase your speed and your efficiency of it, then that's totally okay. But in the beginning, you want to really think about going through everything slow. When I see people just use these things, I see them slinging around and going as fast as they can and spinning around it and picking it up and slamming it down. It just looks like a cardio workout. Now, I know sometimes that's because it's a bag, you don't have one with these arms and limbs on it, but if you're going to invest one that has these arms and limbs, at least use it in the most proper way possible. Now, I know I said that this guy is really good for drilling and it's not as effective for rolling, but there are some places that you guys could actually help with that idea or kind of have the resistance increased. What I mean by resistance is I don't mean like a pushing force, but maybe could create a problem, because we know in jiu-jitsu, it's all about problem solving. So you might have to use your own creative brain to create the problems for you to continue to solve that you're looking for. So like for one example, if we stick with the knee cut pass, I might come through here and do a knee cut pass, and we know that a very standard escape from this is like kind of a high leg idea where someone throws a high leg over and they're gonna try to use their leg to push you off. So instead, I actually physically grab the leg, I hand this off, and I go into my appropriate counter in order to counter their high leg. Now, there's a bunch of other ideas with this too, right? So for example, if this person puts in inside position and they have inside legs, right? I want to be able to stuff their leg, step out, and come inside and reset. So you guys can get a lot of value out of creating your own problems, but you just might have to use your brain a little bit. Even if you're talking about being on top, right? There are a bunch of ways that you guys could create problems, but you have to make yourself kind of be honest about it. So if I'm here and I'm going for an arm lock, right? We could go through, sit through an arm lock, and I could say, oh man, this person's putting their hands together here, right? What are some ways I could break the grip, right? I could go through here, I could come over, I could throw my leg and boom, break the grip off and be able to use that as well here too. So there's a bunch of different ways that you guys could actually get creative to almost create scenarios for you guys to use. And one of the last main things that I recommend that you guys do is use this guy and try to create kind of flows or connections in between your techniques. Because they do have arms, it's very, very valuable. So for example, if I went through here and I wanted to work on my triangles, right? We could go through a triangle position into here. I could go to a triangle. I could switch to an arm lock, or I could even spin over and knock this guy down. From here, there's all kinds of things we could go to. I could exit. I could come on top to side control. I could crucifix. I could even practice my strikes from here. I could pull this person on their side, turn, come through, grab the arm, step over, start to back take, and even work for some chokes from here. So there's ways that you guys can build different connections, and that's very valuable. That helps you retain the information and learn your techniques much better when you can put it together. But make sure you're going slow and you're using your creative ability that's actually realistic, not just some random stuff, but stuff that you would actually somewhat experience whenever you're training. So if you guys liked this grappling dummy, this is the Grappling Smarty 2.0. I do have an affiliate link with them down below. It does save you a little bit of money. Like I said, I'm usually not a giant fan of grappling dummies, but if I did have to recommend one, this is one that I would recommend just because it is built most like a human. I think it comes with a couple different options. You can buy it either stuffed or unstuffed, just depending on what you guys want. So if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Also make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. That way you get this content more regularly in your feed. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Keep training hard.